Hello, listeners. We are your co-hosts, Janine Bailey and Marie Quigley, for the Empower World Coaching and Leadership Podcast. Empower World brings guests who are making a difference to the world to inspire coaches and leaders who lead with mind, heart, and soul. Hello and welcome, listeners, to the next episode of the Empower World Coaching and Leadership Podcast. And this time, not with Marie, but I am with the wonderful Monia Pyraki. And Monia, I'm so grateful that you are here with me today because I've been watching your journey since you did the training with us, and it's been magnificent just to see what the work that you've been doing. And I know it's all sorts of combination of different things, but I've seen you doing some fabulous work with Google, Estée Lauder, Lululemon, and I feel really inspired. And so I wanted to catch up with you. So thank you for being here. I really
Thank
appreciate
you
your.
for having me.
So, Monia, would you like to introduce yourself to our audience and share a little bit about yourself?
Yes, definitely. So, first of all, I'm always very grateful and inspired by the work you do with Empower World. And it's been a very important milestone in my journey today. So, I'm a life coach and a business mentor, but also I'm an events professional. And at the moment, I'm focusing on organizing and creating wellness and personal development experiences and workshops for companies, brands, and people. I have kind of blended all my experience from events, from business, and from the life coach training I did with Empower World. And I have established a company called Monia Pyraki Coaching and Wellness, which has different parts in it. So it has the coaching part, it has workshops, and it has retreats and experiences that blend what I mentioned before.
Yes, thank you. And again, I can see following you on LinkedIn, I can see that you've really made an impact in these organizations through those different components that you've shared. I really appreciate how you've been incredibly creative, resourceful with those skills and strengths and passions to create the business that you've created. So thank you
Thank
again thank you again for being here. So, Monia, I wanted to start by just checking in with you. What brought you to coaching? What was the inspiration?
Great question. So I was living in Doha back then, and I was in a very good and high paid corporate job. I was happy with my job, but something was missing, and I didn't know what was missing. I always liked personal development. I liked growth. I was always reading these books, self help books. I went many years ago, like that was in 2006, to a workshop Tony Robbins did in the US. So I was always like into this kind of world, but I needed to be more, um, to go deeper, not to have a superficial workshop. So I discovered that you were doing these trainings in Doha, and I was super interested. So what got me in was first, I wanted to know more about myself, and I know that can happen with coaching. I also wanted to help others, my team back then, like to be able to ask more questions, to listen, which are the basic foundations of coaching. I never actually knew that I would become a coach, like, and develop this skill later on, but that happened naturally. And I think it's very inspiring to see other coaches do the same. So the main thing that brought me was kind of, I was feeling stuck. I knew there was more, but I didn't know what was that more. And I had a bit of like self-doubt on, can I change careers, or can I become a coach? And I had all these question marks. So the main thing that brought me was I needed to go deeper into myself to start with.
Yes, I really resonate with what you've shared. I'm You're taking me back to my own journey of going into to coach training, recognizing something's missing,
Yes.
and I don't know what it is exactly, but following a hunch, following a calling, a whisper to go on that kind of training to explore
Yes.
about self first and foremost.
Yes,
And
exactly.
and I think the beautiful bonus is learning those skills of coaching and leadership that can be utilized in so many different ways.
Yeah.
So, so you joined the training. It sounds like you maybe found what was that missing link. Just checking in.
Yes, I did. I did actually. And one of the other things I really enjoyed was the connection with like-minded people. I think that I had everything, but I was missing this real true connection and to be allowed to be myself, to be allowed to be vulnerable, to be in a safe space where I could tap into everything I needed to tap. So I think, not actually, I think after the coach training, some doors opened, and not because the doors were not there, but probably I could not see these doors. I got to know myself better through getting clarity on my values, what was important, and all the limiting beliefs that I had. And I um, managed to, create a vision that I was excited about and not scared. But the community and the support that I had through Empower World, I still talk about it. It was just the start of my journey. And sometimes, back then I wished for what I have now, which sometimes we forget. It's like you are somewhere today and you think, oh, I need this, or I could do that as well. But then for me, it's this call reminds me of all the importance of actually going back to where you were and checking in, and the gratitude I feel today, because that was the start of my journey as an entrepreneur, as a coach, I took the leap after the training, and I actually managed to leave that corporate job, not because of the training only. The answer was there already, but it helped me trust more my abilities to create what I have today.
Yes, absolutely. I can hear that. And I can also hear, yes, it takes a leap of faith to potentially invest in something like this because it is an investment.
It
And
is.
and it's potentially reflecting on um, what is it that I'm going to get out of this training? And if I decide to become a coach, because as you share, it's a personal development journey.
Mhm.
Uh, but if I decide to be a coach, what's open? What's available when I finish? How do I get myself started? How do I create what it is that I want to create? And I heard you share, you became clear on your values, what you wanted to create. You connected to a community that supported you. I'm curious, what else perhaps supported you to be able to see those doors that you mentioned to open and open them to create what you wanted to create?
I gave myself space and time. I connected really with my long term vision and what was important to me. And we do have only one life. So I thought that, it's always easy to postpone decisions, right? To say, okay, I'm good, or to stay in a comfort zone because it feels safe. But actually, magic happens when we get out of the comfort zone and when we trust our intuition and when we connect with what matters to us. And from every challenge or setback, I've learned in this journey that there is no such thing as a mistake. It's just a learning curve and an evolvement. And that's how growth came. Of course, the safety and the safe space, and no, like, there's always the doubt: is this the right decision? Will this work? But at some point, you need to trust yourself. You need to trust the environment you are in, and then just go for it. And as you said very well, it's an investment, and I do believe the best investment we can do, at least for me, is an investment to personal development and growth and to our health. At the moment, these are the main two things that I keep saying. If there is one thing I will do until I die, is I will keep learning. I will keep doing things for my health to grow and be and feel strong and healthy. So
Mm. Yes, wonderful, Monia. And so I'm also appreciating that when you completed the training, you took that leap of faith, you gave up the corporate job to do something that you're passionate about, which I'm guessing now you created in Doha, but then you moved.
yes, that
Mm.
was a big problem. So I started in Doha, and in Doha I was actually working and collaborating with the yoga place that the people are there would know, Nia Yoga, and we created wellness events. And I was doing like, I started my coaching journey in Doha. All my clients were there, and then suddenly, as you said, I moved to Switzerland in Zurich, and suddenly everything changed because I felt like I lost my community. They were always there, but physically, the in-person meetings, the events, the experiences, the coffees, anything. And then I felt, and actually I didn't feel it. I had to start from scratch. Also, very different cultures. And apart from starting from scratch, I was also a mom of like twin boys, because when we moved to Switzerland, my kids that are now 8 years old were 6 months. So it was a very lonely journey. It was hard. But again, all the tools I learned through the training really helped me ask myself questions as well. And I started with simple practices, not only, learning at that point, because at that point I needed to just use what I had learned with a gratitude practice, with like maybe having a chat with one of the people from the peer group. And that helped me one step at a time find my way again
Mm. Mm.
and restart. But at the same time, I think it wasn't a restart, it was just continuing what I started, but with a different way.
Yes. Yes, it was so when again I'm hearing that comfort zone was shifted.
Completely.
Yes. And so utilizing everything that you've learned about yourself and learning these skills that you've been able to take into that new world, you've been able to reshape what you do and create, take your power back and create the life that you want. That's,
Yes. And if I can do it, anyone can do it. I think those skills are a foundation for life. So I always say, when people ask me about coaching, and like if they're thinking to transition from a corporate job and start like to get certified as a coach, I always say start with the basic coach training, because that's like a gift for yourself to learn yourself better. You don't need sometimes to make huge decisions. You just need to start. That's what I did. And then the decisions came in a very natural way, and not in a quick and like reactive way to something that was not working. And that's the other thing I've learned, to like take a moment to really tune in with myself and my intuition, and be able to support my whatever I want to do with the skills again I learned, connecting to my values. And values change, they can be different, but again, all these tools we learn are tools for a lifetime.
mm, yes, they are. They really are. And, throughout our conversation before the podcast, in this podcast, I really hear that wisdom that you've been sharing, and that, it's all down to us. We are 100% responsible for the experiences. And yes, life can throw those curveballs, but if we reframe them to see them as an opportunity, as an expansion, as an evolvement, if that's a word, um, then we have the power to be able to create the experiences that we truly want, even through what we're experiencing right now, which is incredibly challenging times.
Yes.
So, and we did talk about that earlier too. So, for anyone listening to the podcast right now, Monia, what would you say to them if they are perhaps feeling like they are being swept up
Mhm.
by the challenges of the world and feeling perhaps powerless? What might you say to them?
The best time to start something or to learn something or to do this thing that scares you is when the times are challenging and when you don't feel well. Because the thing is that that's when we need it most. The support, the connection to ourselves, the mentors, the people that will be, the community we will create by doing the training or talking to a coach. And sometimes we don't even know it. And that's really the secret. Take the leap. Um, you never know where a journey will take you, but there are things you can control and things you can't. So, unfortunately, no one can control the situation that is happening worldwide. We are all very sad and it has affected everyone. But what we can control is what we do for ourselves and what we do for the people around us that we can impact and we can support. And I'll give you an example here. The other day that a teacher comes here for my kids to do an English lesson, and then something happened, like a conflict at school, and I know she's really good. So I started discussing about this conflict with my sons and her, and then I started asking questions to my sons, the 8-year-olds. They're twins, 8-year-olds, and she said, I'm impressed, she said. Like, you didn't tell them that was wrong or right. You just started asking questions. So I'm saying this because these skills have helped me even with my kids. And instead of telling them, oh, but what your friend did was so bad, like I more tap into how did this make you feel? Or, and with all the questions and the tools I've learned, it even helps me in my everyday life. So if someone feels um, that it's a hard moment, and it is a hard moment, and it has impacted their life, but ask yourself, how can I help myself and the people that are close to me? It can be a team, it can be your kids, it can be your friends, and I think that's a great point to start.
Yes, fantastic. And thank you for bringing in the example with your kids. And it is incredible how, again, resourceful and wise children are when given the chance,
Yes.
when given the opportunity to be heard and stretched and challenged to reflect deeply on their choices and thoughts and beliefs, etc. So,
Yes.
um, yeah, it's amazing that your kids are very blessed to have
Thank
a
you.
mum and a
Thank you.
coach working with them.
I'm trying my best. It's not always easy, but I'm trying my best.
Yes, yes. Well, you are human too.
Yes, exactly.
Um, and I know that wellness is a big thing for you as well.
Mm.
What's the inspiration behind the focus on wellness for you, Monia?
Mm. I think that I always had my health for granted. But when I came here and the kids were growing up and I was feeling lonely, I think it's not confirmed, but I think I went through a postnatal depression, which I didn't know. And the moment I started working on like my doing some meditation, some breath work is really healing for me. And started doing like things that I love, like yoga, or now I started swimming in the cold lake or doing walks in nature. I realized how my mood was changing. I realized how I was a better person, a better mom, a better partner, a better friend, a better coach as well. So sometimes we help everyone else or we take care of everyone else and we forget ourselves. And after also like this time of my life, I had like an incident where I went to the hospital hurting really, like with severe pain in my body, but I didn't know what it was. And at the end, it was probably a reaction to stress and tiredness. So I decided that after that, I would do everything to schedule wellness and well-being in my life. And that doesn't mean only physical wellness, like a workout, which is great. I'm the first one to say that after a nice workout, I feel great, but also the mental wellness, the connection to self, to your breath, to maybe even talking to a coach. That's for me wellness as well, and well-being. And then I saw such a huge change, one step at a time. And I stopped saying I don't have time. I was creating time to integrate wellness and well being in my life, because health is one of my top values and I had to honor it. So that's how I moved into like creating and integrating this experience, like the well-being part, into my workshops, into my experiences, because if we don't have that, we will not be able to do anything else. That's the foundation.
Mm. Yes, it's really about putting on our oxygen mask, isn't it? And it's so easy to not do that. And I know I've certainly been caught up in that trap, so to speak. And I'm so pleased to share that I have walked every day for the last 7 months, I think, but as in at least 7,000 steps a day. So
Amazing.
it's just so life-giving to be able to have that time for self instead
Yes.
of putting, which I was used to in the past, putting that aside. No, there's more important deadlines, but health, I agree with you, is so important that we ensure that we look after ourselves so that we're in the best place to support others. So yeah.
Exactly.
Monia, as we wrap up our conversation today, I really appreciate everything that you've shared. So I do want to check in with what parting words of wisdom that you'd like to share with the audience. Maybe it's somebody considering being a coach, maybe it's a coach already. What would you, or a leader who coaches, what would you share with them?
So one thing I would share is there is never the right time. Just take the first step. The first step to a new training, the first step to your first training. That's the first thing, like create the right time. We can only be responsible for what we do. And that's the thing, like that. Once we acknowledge that and make peace with that, everything kind of flows around us. And trust your instinct and intuition for whatever you do. I think that from this wellness world and the well-being and tapping and the walks in nature helped me really connect with myself. Take care of yourself, put your oxygen mask on. You don't need to do 1 hour of meditation. You can do 5 minutes of breathing. Just start, whatever that is.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you for your wisdom, Monia, and thank you for sharing your journey of becoming a coach, being a highly successful coach, and really living your dream. So thank you.
Thank you. And I honestly highly, highly recommend Empower World Training. It's been life-changing for me. It helped me tap so much into myself and create all the skills that I have today. And I'm forever grateful. And I'm happy to be here. And I always talk about Empower World everywhere to everyone.
Thank you, thank you, thank you so much, Monia. And again, I'm really grateful that we've crossed paths in the coach training and beyond. And I've been fortunate to see you since then and here online. So I look forward to seeing you somewhere, somehow in the world in the
I'm
future.
sure we will meet soon.
Yeah, I hope so. Thank you, Monia.
Thank you
And
very much. Thank you.
I'm empowered.
I am empowered.
Thanks for listening. You can find out more about us on our website www.empower-world.com and on our social media networks Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram and YouTube. Be empowered.